Corning's origins date back to 1851 when it was a small, plain glass producer. Over its more than 150-year history, Corning demonstrated tremendous product portfolio agility and many times acted as an early and successful mover into important new business areas. Among its greatest movements and new product inventions were, in 1879, it invented the envelope for Thomas Edison's light bulb. In 1947, it invented a process for mass-producing the television bulb. In 1970, it invented the first low-loss optical fiber, and in 1984, it invented AM-LCD glass for computers and large-screen TVs. One of the outcomes of Corning's R&D culture led to the process and materials innovation that enabled Corning to mass-produce CRTs for televisions in 1947. Corning developed barium oxide glass for the CRT funnel and the process to centrifugally cast and seal glass funnels to faceplates. Corning could foresee the future of television well before its demand surfaced in the U.S. market. Corning had therefore positioned itself to become a market leader when television demand exploded after World War II. Corning continued investing heavily into R&D for color television in line with its research culture. With the launch of color TV in the 1960s and its subsequent growing demand in the U.S. market, Corning maintained its leading and commanding position to capture majority market share. In the 1970s, Japanese CRT manufacturers started to seize market share due to price competitiveness. Corning realized it was time to diversify its portfolio and not rely on the CRT business as its flagship product. After exploiting its position in the CRT business for 2 decades, Corning sold 50% of its CRT business to a joint venture with Asahi, Corning Asahi Video Products. In the 1990s, Corning-Samsung joint venture was formed in 1973 and became a major supplier of CRTs as Korean companies started to take market share away from Japanese manufacturers. In 1960, Corning made its first investment in laser research, which led to attempts in making very thin glass fibers into a viable means of transmitting data. 10 years of R&D expenditure resulted in the first viable fiber optics with attenuation low enough to be used for communication. In 1974, Corning received its first patent, and soon it was the undisputed leader in this area, holding all 12 of the relevant patents dealing with fiber optics. They had insight that the market for these technologies would emerge, but it was too early. By 1981, they had invested more than $100 million in research and had no profits to show for it. Then, in 1982, 21 years after R&D started, the golden opportunity emerged and Corning was ready. When AT&T was broken up, MCI placed a massive order for 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable, and Corning got to work. Subsequently, Corning was able to preserve dominance in fiber optics manufacture through patent protections and continual improvements to the product. Corning was able to predict the market of the future and invest heavily in what they believed would be an important technology of the future, and were well positioned when the golden opportunity finally presented itself. Its portfolio diversification strategy allowed it the flexibility to make these substantial investments while waiting years to reap the eventual profits. Throughout its 150-year history, Corning has exhibited portfolio agility by making dramatic transitions into and out of disparate product categories, from the light bulb to CRT to fiber optics to LCD glass, reinventing their manufacturing operation each time. The single most important lesson that can be drawn from Corning's history is the importance of organizational ambidexterity in balancing exploration and exploitation. The company was able to make smooth transitions into both CRT casting and fiber optics because of management's willingness to invest heavily in promising technologies long before the markets for these technologies were established. Then, it exhibited patience and discipline in waiting for the market opportunities to present themselves. When the opportunities emerged, Corning exploited its technological lead to achieve market leadership, and subsequently made prudent divestment decisions when these markets lost their attractiveness.